Most guys that hit the intermediate level have a lot of experience approaching. That's not the problem so much. When I get them on program, still the first night, we're going to be heavily focusing on the three aspects of the direct approach: the good eye contact, the loudness, and the tonality. I think guys start getting comfortable with the tonality, unless the girl is really hot. So sometimes I'll push them into hotter girls to get comfortable with that. Another problem that they have is still maintaining that eye contact. They might have it for a bit, but they kind of wander off. I think the third biggest thing that is really important at the intermediate level is really starting to work on your reaction time. Guys that are out a lot, they're getting more comfortable being in the flow, being in a good environment, and if you're working on the self-amusement type of shit, you're going to be having a good vibe and putting that aura off to people, and you're going to start getting what we call approach invitations from the girl. So girls will be looking at you, and they'll be wondering what you're on and why you're having such a good time, and they're going to want to talk to you. But usually what happens is either you're too in your head focusing on other things so you don't even notice that the women are responding or looking at you or reacting to you, I guess is probably the best way to explain it. Or the other problem is your reaction time isn't quick enough. So I notice when I get into the intermediate, in myself even in the advanced level, my whole goal when I get out is to increase my reaction time and get that going. Because I know I'm having fun, I'm awesome, I'm fucking awesome, I'm having fun, and all the shit by me being awesome and having fun, the girls, they see this, they see the aura, they see the vibe. And as long as I'm there to take action when I see the opportunities, things go well. But what happens at the beginning of the night, even in my own head, I'm thinking I'm awesome, feeling good. I see the girl, she looks at me, I look at her, and then I go back to thinking how awesome I am. And the doubt might have kicked in about, oh, you should have talked to her. No, I'm still awesome. I see the girl again, she looks at me, I look at her. Oh shit, I'm awesome. Oh, I should go talk to her. I look again, she's looking at me, I look at her. Now it's just weird and awkward if I go up and approach, so I can't do it now, that'd just be weird. And because I waited so long, it probably will be weird. And what I try to do is always trudge over there and do it anyways, just to get that momentum going. A problem that I think a lot of intermediate guys, and even more so at the advanced level, what they have is as you start working on yourself, you start approaching more, you start building self-esteem because you taking action, getting better results, you're improving towards those life values and feeling good. And then you see this woman and she's just in some mini skirt and doing coke or who knows what and drinking every night, and she's not changing. If anything, she's a depreciating asset. She's getting worse and worse, and you're getting better and better, and you go up and she gives you some shit. You're like, what the fuck is this? Especially if the girl's just an average girl. She's like a 7 on the 1 to 10 scale. She's just an average 7 girl. And a lot of times you don't even feel like approaching those girls anymore. But what happens is because you don't approach them, your reaction time never builds up. So you go up, you see the 7, you don't want to talk to her, and then you see the really hot girl, and you haven't been with a girl like her, and it's this weird purgatory. I talk about this on my blog of not being at either level and just not taking any action because the hot ones are too cool or like too high value for you because you don't have enough experience. And the 7s and everything below that, you feel that you're too high value to even deal with it, and then you end up just not approaching. So what I do, like I said, my whole goal is just this reaction time, getting my reaction time and turning that up and getting it stronger and stronger and faster. So I see girls, boom, I hit it. Da-da-da-da-da. Another girl hit it. Boom, 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 boom. As the night goes on, now when I do make eye contact, I'm right in. With that, another thing at the intermediate level for approaching is this is where you want to move into the more high-risk approach. As I said in the mindset section, a lot of guys at this level have problems moving towards the man-to-woman frame. They're getting more comfortable being social, but they don't know how to transition into that. I'll talk about in the verbal section one way to verbally actually steer things in that direction. But the easiest way that I found, and the easiest way that I've found to teach and how guys have the most success to move things into the man-to-woman frame is to start it off that way. If you start it off from that headspace and that mindset from the very beginning, everything goes better. The problem with that, and the thing that is kind of sad news for you, is what you basically have to do to create that frame from the beginning is go in harder and take more high-risk approaches. So this is going to be the ones that are there's a lot of social pressure to it. My favorite one is when you see the girl and she's seated next to her friend. You go up, and instead of just going up, using the good tonality, using the good eye contact and projecting loudly, what I want you to do is go over, you see the girl sitting down, go, hey, take her by the hand, pick her up, tell her, hey, I thought you're cute. I just had to come over and say hi. What's her name? And the idea is to make it even more direct. I would say that there's about 5 levels. I call them the 5 modalities of directness. So the first 3 that we talked about are all that I worry about for the newbie. Those are the things like good eye contact, good projection, and good tonality. But there's actually more. You have proximity, so how close you are when you talk to her. You have physicality, by getting physical, right? And even, there's even more. Another example would be your verbal, the actual words you use. So I think, guys, at this stage, it's going to get better. You're going to get better results as you get more authentic and just say it exactly how it is and go up and be direct from the very beginning. My fallback opener that I use over and over and over again, literally over 90% of my approaches, is just, hey, you're cute. You're cute. You're cute. What's your name? Why do I like that? Cuts through well. The tonality works really well. And it states my intent right away. And I want to make it more and more obvious. Something, if I looked back a couple years from when I was in the more intermediate level, moving to the advanced level, and if I look at a lot of guys with less experience and less results compared to the guys that have the best results, it's very obvious very quickly the type of guy you are to the girl. So if I would say a couple years ago, I'm thinking back, I go talk to the girl, maybe it takes me 7 dates to get with her. After a while, she's seen me enough, she's been exposed to me and knows what type of guy I am, and I'm consistently the same, the high value shit comes through. Then maybe 1 or 2 years ago, it would take 7 hours to get that same girl. Now that same girl might take 7 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And what that is very quickly, almost immediately, she's going to know what type of guy I am when I talk to her. She can just tell the way I'm looking at her, the way maybe I'm checking out her body unapologetically. I don't care if she likes it or not. She's going to like it because my frame is so strong and I'm just holding that the way I hold in. And even though maybe she's giving me a little resistance, I just hold that frame anyways because I know how important it is to hold that frame even when she is giving me some shit. And as I was talking about before with the idea of shit tests and congruence tests, every time you pass that test, you're moving forward. You're moving the interaction forward. So this is great. And I know a lot of guys, they almost create those shit tests by turning up the masculinity, turning up that dominance through all those other channels that I was talking about at the very beginning. So she gives you that opportunity to move things forward because she's tested you. You hold the frame, test, you stay on your path. And because of that, the attraction just goes through the roof really quickly. Another common theme that I see for guys, or a common sticking point problem that this guy has, is he starts building this ego of actually being successful with women. So when you're a newbie, you're just trying to get good results. You're trying to get good reactions. But as you start getting some of those, it starts building up inside, and you start that extreme self-love. You start to feel pretty good about yourself. And then you feel awesome, and you go through work all week and you're feeling really good. And then you go out that next weekend and you see that hot girl, and inside you're a hero in your own mind, and you see her, and then all of a sudden this new approach anxiety comes up. And it's different than when you had it earlier on. Because when you're a total newbie, you're just afraid of rejection. You're afraid that she's going to say something and you're going to feel bad and feel sad about it. When you hit the intermediate level, it's not so much that you're afraid to get rejected, but you're afraid to reject this new ego of being successful with women. And it's a weird thing that a lot of guys have. And it's very consistently happens a couple months after a lot of guys take a boot camp, is that they start getting good results. And then this new sort of fear of having the interaction go poorly sets in because they only want good reactions. So what this is you're identifying with the good results. The identity you have of being successful with women is completely based on the reactions from the girl. So there's this new outcome dependence, there's this new neediness and emotional attachment to getting good results. And for me, when this happened, it was a huge sticking point I had for a couple months, like a month basically straight. And it was a plateau where I just wasn't getting any results anymore. Every interaction just failed. And it was like a really rough period. And I realized what that was from was because I had this outcome dependence on it. And one night I just decided to go out and say, fuck all that. I'm just going to fuck some shit up. So what I did was I threw some ice cubes at girls. I was throwing ice cubes at girls, using stupid openers, just opening with shit like banana, banana, banana. and I was trying to basically get slapped in the face on purpose. That's what I said. I'm like, I'm going to get slapped in the face, try to get slapped. And the funny thing is all of a sudden every interaction went well. And if you notice what we were talking about before, why do you think it went well? If you think about it, you tie it together with what I was talking about before and what self-amusement is compared to reaction seeking. When you have the ego and you're identifying with that ego, you want the good reactions and you're very reaction seeking. You're trying to do specific things to get a specific reaction. You're smiling, you're doing all these things, hoping, hedging your bets, not going all out and not being polarizing. You're just trying to have it go well, as opposed to the total opposite, which I was unexpectedly doing, the idea of self-amusement. I was, again, throwing the ice cubes, using the stupid openers, because I was having fun with it. I wasn't exactly having fun, but I wasn't really caring. And because I didn't have any dependence on the outcome, everything was just going. I didn't care. I wasn't reaction seeking. All of a sudden, the girls felt that, and it felt good, so they wanted to be a part of that. And so if you fall into that headspace where you're taking it too seriously and you need to get those good results, and this new approach anxiety comes in, or maybe it just comes in because you don't go out as consistently as you did prior and you're only going out twice a week or something like that, the way around that is to have those first couple ones. Think about self-amusement. How can I have fun? How can I make this fun? What could I do to fuck around and not even care? I don't care who the woman is. Just like I was saying in the newbie section, just to get experience with anyone, at the beginning of the night, I'm selfishly using whoever I'm talking to get in that happy vibe, happy headspace. And that does not come from the reactions from the girl. It comes from me taking action and moving towards the things that I want. That's what pumps a man up, is that taking action and bringing it internally from within. The goal is, as you move from the intermediate to the advanced level, is approaching, becomes internalized, and it comes to the point where you really don't even think about it anymore. Where I'm at now in the advanced level, kind of the advanced and beyond, I guess you would say, is I literally don't even think about attraction anymore. I know that if I just go in and be loud, everything's going to take care of itself. So me, the concepts of having fun and the self-amusement and the being awesome and the extreme self-love, all that comes down to just being loud, just being a loud presence. I always joke around when I'm with all the other instructors. We go to bars and all of a sudden I just start talking louder, loud and attractive, loud and attractive. And that loudness, I just know people are drawn towards it. They just hear that and they're like, who is this loud, attractive man? He's very unstifled. He seems to be relaxed and having fun. And it conveys all the right qualities. And I know when I go in, as long as I'm conveying that, boom, that 80 to 90% of the time, the attraction part is going to take care of itself. Because if I just hold that, she's going to test it, I hold it, she tests it, I hold it, unapologetically, this is me, I'm having fun. It's congruent, it's authentic, it just says all the right things. And as long as I'm doing that and being loud, the aura, the presence is all coming out, I'm enjoying myself, I'm in the moment, that part is completely taken care of. And then from there, all it moves into is logistics and leading, moving things forward in the way that I want to, and making sure her situation is proper. And I can feel it out and see if she's available, she's there with friends, how did she get there? And we'll get into that as we get into Endgame in this section. So I really want you guys to really internalize and work towards that, where your frame is just so strong. Attraction literally is something you don't even think about anymore, because you just know if you just hold that loudness and hold that fucking hard, it will take care of itself. The attraction is like a non-issue. You don't even have to think about it. Again, when you have that really hot girl there, it's not as easy to just go up and be loud and be fucking awesome, fucking do that shit. It's a little bit harder. But the goal is to move in that direction and get more experience with them too, get punched by them, theoretically punched, not actually punched and slapped. But as you get more experience with them and comfortable, you're more feel more comfortable to be yourself in those situations. And again, that reference points and the frame and everything just fills in and you just feel fucking great. With that said, I want to give a little caveat here for a certain subset of guys. I notice this a lot with Brazilian guys for some reason when I have Brazilian students. They're having fun and they're really enjoying life. And they go up to talk to the girl and they're having so much fun, even though it is self-amusing, it just comes across as like kind of weak because they're just enjoying themselves so much. There is no danger here. We're not moving towards the danger, which I said is the next kind of direction we're moving. So even though you have that funness there, you still need to have that masculine intensity. There's an old concept in the old pickup circles where they talk about you want to have equal or more energy than the woman. And I think that's totally true. But so when you're at the bar or something like that, she's just hanging out, you want to have a little bit more energy, a little bit more than her. So she's drawn towards you as opposed to the stimulus of the environment. But what about when she's on the dance floor just kind of really rocking. What are you going to come up and start fucking breakdancing and shocking right in front of her? It's going to be a little extreme, and it's definitely the wrong way to go about it. And what the cool thing is as a man, we actually have a different type of energy than the woman. The woman, it's kind of what we call in RSD circles the raging brush fire. So it has a hollowness to it, and it's a lot of energy, and it's pretty extreme, but it's hollow. It's just externally focused, this energy here, as opposed to you have like a searing hot coal, and that is really high fidelity, strong, serious, intense energy. It's an intensity. So when you go up to the girl, you want to channel that intensity, and it's that masculine drive. It's the same caveman drive for when you're killing a wildebeest or something like that. That's what she's actually drawn towards, that masculine fucking intensity. So I've had students on program, and I'd say to them, literally imagine in your head you have a knife and you are going to kill her. You're going to stab this woman with this knife. That's what I want your eyes to say. I don't want you to actually say that, and I definitely don't want you to stab her. But with your visualization and what your mindset is and that intensity, I want you to just go up right there and say, hey, what's your name? So that is go up and, hey, what's your name? If you think about it, no matter how much fun she's having and how much she's dancing, if you come up to her with an actual knife, you go to, she's going to respond, because that is actually more energy than no matter how crazy the environment is, because it's that high fidelity, that hot searing coal. And you can have that and say bananas, 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 and incorporate the self-amusement side of it too, with some stupid opener or joking around, having fun. But I know with the eye contact and that intensity, I still have to have that there to draw her in initially, convey the value, convey that intensity, and still keep it fun. A lot of times it's by doing that and getting good reactions from them. That alone is fun for me. And just holding there and just holding the frame. We'll talk about, as we get into the advanced section, of using silence and pacing to make her invest more and put her on the spot. So as you're doing this and using pacing and spacing and the tonality, it really gets her moving towards you, and it creates a vacuum where she's just drawn towards you and works more and more to make it happen and starts chasing you. Of course, as you're doing these high-risk approaches, you're not going to feel comfortable at first. If I look at it, how I really think about this game is it is a game. And I look at the NBA or something like that, and I know that the reason the guys that are the best is because they practiced, they do it over and over again. So if you think about it, if you're right-handed, you're dribbling the ball, to do a windmill hardcore left-handed dunk is going to be pretty tough at first. And that's how I view these high-risk approaches where you're going up, pulling them off, or clawing them in on the dance floor or something like that. And the only way you're really going to get comfortable with it is you do it a couple times. It takes literally, if you're out and experienced, you're going out a lot, to do some of these more high-risk approaches, you do it 2 or 3 times and you get comfortable with it. And it goes pretty easily. But to get that where you're just doing it 100%, it's probably not going to work the first time because you're nervous and it's not going to feel 100%. But as you do it more and more, you get experience with it and you know exactly what she might do or what she might say, and you feel comfortable with it. So you need to get those reference points of all different sorts of ways of how you meet that girl, because you never know when that supermodel, awesome girl finally comes along. You hopefully have a reference point of how to open her properly so that you're comfortable and confident behind it. You have that confidence to say, hey, this is how it's done, blah, 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 and you just do it. I think over time, too, what happens is you do delusionally kind of just get so many reference points of doing things well that even the weird, awkward approaches, in your own head, you don't think they're weird and awkward. I remember one time I was in Norway, and this is one of the best feedback I ever had from a student. It was hilarious. He went in and he was talking to some girls. We were outside at this Uncle Donald place in the middle of a square, and it was kind of rainy, as it always is in Norwegian summers. I was in Oslo, if I didn't say that. And it was cool. He was at the table, and there were 2 girls sitting next to him, and one had crutches, and there's chairs all over the place. I decided I'm going to go in and help him out. It's not really going very well. So in my head, I'm thinking, I go in, and I see who I'm going to talk to. I'm going to talk to the girl on the left. So I go in. I hit that shit super smooth. I'm like fucking Batman wearing the Excalibur. Slide in, all smooth. Sit down at the table, isolate my girl. She's off talking to me. The other student's talking to the other girl. Goes fantastic. Get the number. Boom. Rock and roll, right? So afterwards, I talked to the student about it and how I was helping him out. And his feedback was basically, what he said to me was, dude, that was the most awkward approach I've ever seen. You literally were rolling up and you tripped over the chairs, and she had her crutches there, and you just kind of moved the crutches, but they fell over. They were both looking at you like, who the fuck is this guy? I was looking at you like, who the fuck is this guy? And I looked at your face, and you were so calm, and you were just like so smooth about it, and you didn't even notice all this shit, and it was just fucking amazing. So it's funny how in my own head, I thought this was like the smoothest approach ever. But in actuality, the shit that was going on there, it was not that smooth, but you just plow through it and you make it happen anyways. It's the same thing. You go and you spill the drink as you go up, or some shit happens. This, again, for me, going back to the NBA analogy, it's kind of like you go in and you're about to dunk, and all of a sudden Dwight Howard comes up. So all of a sudden you have to do a spin move, and you do the lefty layup behind the backboard or some crazy shit. That's the same thing. You go in and you talk to some girl, and all of a sudden some dude comes up on the friend. So you bounce off, and you come at her from the side, and even though in your head you're thinking, oh shit, this is not the smoothest approach, those are the ones that ultimately convey the most value, because it shows that you're completely comfortable with that social pressure. And if you just plow through it, it actually conveys more than the perfect, smooth, elegant layup approach. So I want you to, one, see those as opportunities, and two, when that shit comes up, don't look for the first excuse just for failure. And when something doesn't go your way, you just walk away. This is also a good example of, I think as guys get in the intermediate level, they build some intuition for what are going to be the good approaches and what aren't. So you can see there's things that I'll tell a newbie about what I look for when I'm picking out girls to talk to for him. And I think it is good for, especially for a newbie, because he doesn't have a lot of experience, just to get a good reaction from the girl. And it's not whatsoever focused on what she looks like her appearance, if she's hot or not. The number one indicator, which I think is the most subtle and kind of a cool little ninja move, is basically you look at her energy level compared to her friends. So if you have, let's say there's 4 girls there, and 3 are dancing, and the 4th girl is just chilling out. For whatever reason, she's looking for something separate from her friends, and if a guy goes in, it usually goes pretty well. The other example would be the opposite, where the friends are all chilling, and the 4th girl is just kind of dancing around, looking for something external. And then when the guy comes up, those ones are actually usually very receptive too. I always joke, I think the most receptive ones are when you have a girl making out with some guy, and then the spare wheel friend, and they're just looking for their own stimulus and dude to make out with. Those ones always go really well. Not that you should be waiting around for that. And I think other examples for ones that I think go really well, that are really receptive, some of the more obvious ones is eye contact. Obviously, usually women, when they want to talk to guys, they're going to be looking around. You see the cougars, they're usually there as like a 2-set, like 2 women, and they're talking to each other, but they're not even making eye contact, because they're trying to make eye contact with guys to have them come up. So a lot of times I'll just walk around, lock eyes with some girl, and throw the student on that. So definitely start paying attention when you get that eye contact to go for it. I also think women usually make themselves approachable. So if it's a group of married women, the single girl is usually on the outside, so she's very easy to get to. And I think a lot of times those ones also go really well, because it's easier just for the guy. I think maybe some other girls might be more receptive, but if you have to climb over the 2 chairs and move through the group of guys to get over to the girl, you're starting to get in your head more and more and more. And that's what actually makes her end up being unreceptive and not going well, is because you're more in your head, as opposed to the ones that are just right there and it's easy to get at them and they're at the bar or something like that. But as I was hinting at before I got into this little rant here, is that I don't want you looking for those easy ones. Another example would be the girl that just walks in the door. Usually I would say she's probably going to be pretty unreceptive, because she just walked in, she needs to do her little strut around, grab her drink. But you want to start becoming the selector here. You want to become the man and take what you want. Be the Kobe Bryant of this game. And when you see that girl, don't think, oh, well, she's not in the perfect scenario for me to approach. And it's just like, fucking go for it, do it. And those are the experiences, whereas you get more comfortable doing those. Maybe you see her and she's on her way to the bathroom. You grab her. You're like, hey, you're really cute. I want to talk to you. She says, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. Be like, well, I'm here and I just wanted to say hi. I'll wait for you right here. Come out. Boom. And even though it sounds chode, you're waiting for or whatever, because you approached it so strong and so well, and you came at it from the man taking what he wants and the selector, it conveys so much more than if you wait for her to get out of the bathroom and you're chilling and you wait for get the drink and you're waiting for that perfect opportunity, especially if the girl's hot, that opportunity is just never going to come up. So I want you to start moving towards the high risk, be the selector type of approaches.